Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur Podcast. I am Dr. Ben Spears, the ambassador of Flow. I am here with the big guy, as usual, Matt Vi, with a V.
As in Vig.
Yeah, not a PH, but that sounds like a V. Matt Vi.
Matt Fi.
How you doing, Matt?
I couldn't until you butchered my name.
I didn't butcher your name.
I feel like ashamed now of my heritage, thanks to you, Ben.
What is your heritage?
It's Czech.
I have no idea where my people are from.
They're from
know
Kentucky.
They're from Kentucky. I don't know where they came from.
Dude, they go all the way back from Kentucky.
Yeah, whatever the Kentucky midichlorians are, right. That's what we're from.
That's right. An autotrope.
Yeah. Come on now. I'm out. Peace out, guys. Matt.
Yeah, Ben.
What are we talking about today, man?
Getting prehistoric, apparently. We're talking about out-punting your coverage. That's what we're talking about.
All right. For all those people who have no idea what that is.
So out-punting your coverage means you've got, so in fourth down, I'm going to say college football. You can do it in pro football, right?
Yeah, sure.
But you punt, right?
Yep.
That means that what you're doing is your coverage is good, but the punt is so good you don't even have to worry about the coverage. Okay, your punt is just hits on the 1 yard line and it just sits right there.
Yeah, it just sits right there. Okay, I got
So you out-punted your coverage. So your coverage was good, but your punt was even better.
Gotcha. It was high and soft.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. All right, guys. Well, you know the routine. Wherever you're listening to this, make sure you hit that follow and that subscribe button. There's absolutely no better time than the present than to go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com and sign up for our weekly newsletter. We'll just send you some really cool recruiting stuff, absolutely free. And we just want you to kind of be part of our community, get to know you and your business, let you know us and
ours as well.
Ours as well. So, Matt.
Yeah, Ben.
You threw me off with out-punting your coverage, right? I'm like, how in the world am I gonna?
Yeah. So
how am I gonna transition this
me
in a way that
in.
like everybody can?
Let me jump
I
back
want to
in.
bring everyone in.
Yeah, you want to bring everyone together.
Yeah, right. I'm about relationships.
Right, and me, I'm just the what?
You're about football.
Well, right now, for about another week or so.
And I could transition. It's not whatever. I know that. Gosh, if you want to, figure this out, regardless. Let's say you're like, you know what? Before I listen to this podcast, I really need to go back and I need to learn about football. Well, that's just another way of saying you're working on yourself.
That's right.
Right, and that's kind of the first thing that we're going to be talking about anyway.
Yeah. So what it basically means is, if you're out there recruiting, and the people that you're recruiting to are really, really good. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we worry that our game of recruiting and how good we are and the conversations we're going to have, we're going to end up with people, and maybe they look at us and go, man, they sold me really hard on this company, and then I get here and all of a sudden the company isn't really what I thought that it was, right?
Yeah.
Their punting game was really good, but their coverage game wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I mean by out-punt the coverage, right?
Okay.
So a lot of the times brokers will not go after certain agents at certain production levels because they're afraid that the person knows more about listings than they do, or their production is at a point where they've never achieved before. So they're like, how can I help that person? Or they're I've never worked on a team, so how can I go after this person that has a 12-person team, right? I don't know anything about teams. So they're afraid that they're out-punting. They're afraid the person's going to look at it like their coverage got out-punted, right?
Gotcha.
Okay. So you hit it on the head. Absolutely. First thing, work on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Great place to work on yourself to start with is right here, is recruiting.
Yes.
Okay. Because if you look at recruiting the right way, what you're going to do is you're going to figure out who you are, and then you're going to put that out there. And the people that are going to be attracted to that are the people that like your punt coverage.
Yeah.
It's just gonna match.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you're working on who you are and you're getting better at recruiting, it helps you with your retention. It helps you with all the systemization that you're doing and everything, because you know who you are, what you want to be, how you want to support your peeps. Once you understand all that, production doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And whether they're a luxury agent and you've never sold a luxury house before, it doesn't matter. You're a residential agent and they're the top commercial person in your market, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
None of that will make a difference if you work on yourself, know who you are, work on your recruiting game, and get good at some of the things that you need to do to get the word out the right way about you.
Yep, I like that. And you made a couple good points there.
Thanks.
But let's, you didn't make 3.
I know. I heard you say a couple.
Yeah, I said a couple. Right.
This goes back to the audit trip thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. You didn't out-punch coverage on that one, right? but so let's say you were a killer agent, right? Maybe you're still selling, and you go out there, you sell 25, 30 million in sales volume, and there's these agents who are out there and they're like doing like 300 million, right? 150 million,
right?
And you say, oh gosh, like, man, what am I supposed to, how am I supposed to help that person, right? Like they know what they're doing. I never did that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, take a look at where they are now,
mm-hmm.
how their story is being told by their brokerage,
right?
And see and be honest with yourself,
right?
Can you share that story just a little bit better?
Right. Is their brokerage telling their story in a scary way?
Yeah.
Right. Are they telling a horror story? Are they not telling it all? We've talked about this before, right? When it comes to compensation, there's financial and there's emotional, right?
Yeah.
Are they paying them just in financial dollars?
Yeah.
Right. Or are they just paying them in emotional dollars and taking a bunch of financial dollars from them?
Yeah.
Right. Take a close look at what's going on and pay attention to the details of it, because that's the story that's being told.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's happening. The other thing is, because the number 2 on this on our show notes is storytelling ability. Right.
Right.
And so to me this is a big deal, right? Because we talk about being authentic all the time. There's some agents that are really good at telling a story that isn't quite the story that is happening.
Right.
Okay. And so I'm not talking about people that are building themselves up and saying, hey, I'm going to achieve this and I'm going to accomplish this, and they're working hard to do it. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
Man, rock on. God bless them. I love them. Go get them, Tiger.
You got it.
I'm talking about people that one thing is happening and they're telling the story that something completely different is happening.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the kind of people that if you understand how to tell your story and you understand how to ask questions with the story that someone else is telling, a lot of times you're going to see that the story that they're telling about who they are and what they are in their business is not really who and what they are. Okay?
Yeah.
So at one point I was recruiting to someone that was a pretty productive agent in a market that was a pretty good size market. Okay. And they talked a lot about their philanthropic work. Did I say that right?
Philanthropic
work.
Philanthropic would be like,
Is that where autotropes live?
I donate money to the toucans.
Okay. So when I point at you, you say the word. They talked a lot about doing
philanthropic or philanthropy. I don't know how you're finishing the sentence.
They talked about a lot of charity work.
Exactly. There you go.
Right. And about how engaged they were in the charity work. And so, I sat down and met with them, and I loved that. Right. I mean, I thought that was really cool. The brokerage that they were with made a big deal about all of this, that collectively they were doing it individually. And I started to dig into it with the person that I was talking to, and they didn't dismiss it, but they wanted to move on from the conversation kind of in an incomplete manner, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I circled back around to it because the brokerage I was with at the time had done a lot of work with this particular organization. Yeah. And I was thinking, this is fantastic. You're talking about doing a lot with that. We're here. We do a lot with that. This is something that's in 4 or 5 counties right around us. It's going to be hyper local, but on a large scale. This is great. And as I started to talk to them, I realized they just weren't. It's kind of like they were wearing the badge but hadn't been on the field, right? Yeah. And needless to say, I was as done with the conversation as I could have been at that point, right? They continued to tell that story. Some people are really good at telling the story.
Right.
So when you're recruiting someone, make sure that you kind of sift through everything and make sure that the story that's being told is actually the story that's happening.
Yes.
A lot of times the story that brokers are afraid of is not the story that's really happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing too is like, if you have this or see these agents that you're like, man, like that's a killer agent. Because this was kind of like, you know, one of the brokerages that I was at, and I was one of the top producers in their office. They didn't tell my story at all.
Right.
I told my story. So
Right.
I never thought about it until literally just this conversation right now.
Right.
They never told my story at all. Mm-hmm. So that's something else that you can play off of as well, a sense of listen, like more people need to know about what's going on here.
Right. Yeah. So if I was sitting down with you and trying to convince you to sit down and everything, I'd say, so how's it going? And, you know, and if you're a competitive person, which you are, you know, how's your business and everything? And you make a comment, something like, you know, well, it looks like I'm on track. I'm probably going to be the top person in the office. Fantastic. How are you and your broker going to celebrate that?
Right.
Right. Ask that question.
Yeah.
I hope the broker has an answer and that they've talked about it. But that's your chance to say, well, you know, this is what I'd do, right? This is how I think that would work. This is right, exactly. So storytelling is going to be really important, but don't believe the story that you're being told all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, going back to a little bit how I brought up that topic of, you know, you may have an agent out there who's just absolutely killing it, and maybe they're killing it at a level that, you know, you never did as a selling agent. Mm-hmm. But you're still winning.
Yep.
There are things that you win at all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And you never discount those, I guess would be the best way of saying it.
Absolutely.
Making sure that, you know, as much as you're saying, listen, like I want to like celebrate you and who you are and celebrate your wins and share your story. Don't forget, like you've got some wins out there that you can share.
That's right.
And no, I won't say no win is too small. Some wins are too small to go to $100 million, you know, producer and be like, you know, we got a new water fountain.
Right. Water fountains matter though, Ben. Water
they do matter, Matt. I know this to be true, but it's probably not like something that's going to bring them on.
No, that's not going to be a deal breaker, I wouldn't think, right?
Hey guys, this podcast is powered by Prospect Boomerang.
We all know broker owners struggle with profitability. Prospect Boomerang compounds your profits by recruiting the best agents to your brokerage.
For consistent growth, visit prospectboomerang.com.
Depends on how bad the other water fountain is, I guess.
Yeah, but that's true.
Yeah. So part of that, you know, of course, you know, if you're telling the story and you're celebrating wins and all that kind of stuff, as soon as you do that, you know, you got to take into account the trophies that people are winning, right? The recognition they're getting, for lack of a better way of putting it, right? So the meme I love so much is there's a first, second, and third place. There's a little kid standing at the top of the first place, and he's holding a trophy, and he's just bawling, crying. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second place kid is looking at the first place kid and the third place kid, and the third place kid has got the trophy, this little tiny trophy that's like 1/15 of what the other guy has. He's got it up over his head. He's leaning back and he's just screaming like, "I did it, man!
Look at me! Look at me!"
And the point is, it's all about perspective. What happened on that journey to get to that point, right?
Yeah.
So whenever you're trying to hire someone that is a productive agent and that has had a lot of success, or that's real good on social media, or that works in a market that you'd love to be part of it, keep in mind that the trophy is not as important. What it is that they've accomplished there is not as important as how they look at that.
Yeah.
Okay. So just because they're number one in whatever county you're in, right? Take a step back and figure out how'd they get to be number one? What was the journey that got them to the point where they lift the trophy over their head? Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you go, oh my gosh, number one, that is it, you've arrived, and they're thinking to themselves, I want to be number one in the state. I want to be number one in the franchise system. I want to be number one in the whatever. Or if you say, oh my gosh, you're at the, you know, I can't believe this. You know, if you keep going, you're going to be number one in the state. And they're like, I just wanted to be number one in the zip code.
Right.
Right. I mean, All of that matters. Okay. So you have to pay attention whenever you're trying to attract and find and get the right agents. You have to keep in mind, what trophy are they raising over their head, and ask them how they feel about that trophy. Ask them how they feel about that win, and really sit back and listen and see if you can help them either accomplish getting that bigger trophy, move from the podium on third place to second place to first place, or are they happy on that third place trophy because there's something else that matters, that they're on a first place trophy themselves already.
Gotcha.
Or on a third place stand, you know what I meant?
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah,
instead of, it looks like a third
podium.
place. Podium, that's it. So philanthropic podium is what they were on.
Yeah.
So I said it right.
Yeah.
It's like Worcestershire with Larry Moe and Curly, right? Yeah, you don't remember
I guess.
that.
I know Larry Moe and Curly.
I can never say Worcestershire. But you got to look and see whether they think they're standing on the third place podium, or whether they feel like they're already on the first place podium.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that only comes from you questioning that. It only comes from you sincerely sitting down and talking to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, that brings us to our last point, which is, sometimes there are multiple podiums.
Right.
Right? It doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3. Maybe it goes to 20. But you just have to know that if you're recruiting everybody on that podium, you ain't going to get everybody.
Right. And you don't want everybody.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't know who you don't want.
That's exactly right.
Until you're going through the process, right?
And sometimes you get them and you didn't want them.
That's exactly right. And sometimes you wanted them and you didn't get them.
That's exactly right.
Right. So you got to be okay with the ones that got away.
Yep.
Okay. You just have to. So this has happened. Any broker that spent any amount of time recruiting at all. Okay. Talk to someone today that this happened to. Okay. So you're going to have somebody that you really wanted and you didn't get them.
Yeah.
Okay. When I talked to her today, she was pissed. Okay.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, I can't believe I didn't get them. That's bull crap. And I said, okay, so what do you think I think of that and all that kind of stuff? And she said, just let it go and just move on. And I said, well, you're kind of right. I want you to let go of certain parts of this, and I want you to move on from certain parts of this, but I don't want you to let go of that relationship. Here's the reason why. Mm-hmm. The connection she had with this person was really good. Okay. I really thought, from the conversations we had, I really thought that she won this person over. Okay. Yeah. And when she said when they went to the other brokerage, there wasn't a real good, in my opinion, there wasn't a real good reason why they went to the other brokerage. Okay. And so I told our client, I said, listen, I want you to stay really close with, I want you to move on from, did I win or lose at this? Okay.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do is I want you to understand that there's still an opportunity there for that person. Okay.
Of course.
And this is a very productive person. This is probably 25 or 27 million, something like that.
Yeah, killer.
Rolling 12. Okay. So this is a really productive person. So I said, just stay connected with them. Just continue the conversation, right? You're not gonna basically talk nice and have a great relationship and lead up to everything being fantastic with them. They join another company and you never freaking talk to them again.
Right.
Right. What does that make you? Right. It makes you a liar.
Yes.
Okay. So if it's really about the relationship to you, and if it's really about those things mattering, and they go and they choose someone else, dig into why they chose someone else. Mm-hmm. Take a real look at it. Make good notes of it. Fix yourself if you need to fix yourself in that area. Take that as constructive, but don't let go of that relationship with that person. As soon as you let go of that relationship with that person, you know what they're going to think? It was just about me coming to work for them.
Yeah, it was all a front.
It was all a front. And if that's what you're doing, you're just putting a front out there, and then when you don't hire them, they go somewhere else and you forget about them. Then them going somewhere else and you not talking to them anymore is only going to validate that they made the right decision going where they went.
Yep.
So instead, when you connect and you stay connected with them and you continue it being about the relationship, if they get sideways with where they went, which happens a lot,
yes,
especially when they were on the fence about a decision,
mm-hmm.
and they go somewhere else, and all of a sudden it's not the way that they thought it was. Not everything went the way that it was supposed to, and there you are, still connected with them, still having great conversations with them, still delivering value, still inviting them to events and challenges, still sending them lead magnets that are going to change their business, still following up with them and telling them about kick-ass podcasts like Brokers Open Podcast. All right, so you get it. You're still doing all of those things. they're going to know that you truly wanted what was best for them. And there's gonna be a time that comes when they're like, you know what, I need to be somewhere where somebody cares about me, that wants what's best for me, because I need that type of compensation.
Yeah, and that broker's always been that person.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I think I'm gonna start believing that. Matt.
Yes, Ben.
Before I know we have an action item.
We do.
This is the moment in the podcast where I get to talk the most. Right?
So does that mean I can't interrupt? Is that what you're talking about?
Turn your mic off here for a second.
Is this thing on?
Exactly. I wish I could do that.
You and everybody else.
Yeah. Guys, wherever you're listening to this, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, let's throw in some Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. If you're just saying, hey, Alexa, play Brokerpreneur Podcast, because you can do that.
Yep.
Hit the follow button or tell Alexa, man, follow them.
Alexa be like, you already are. I did it already.
Yeah, exactly. I did that while you were dreaming about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, hey guys, what's up? Hit that red subscribe button right below this video and hit that bell right beside of it, and you will get notified every time we drop a new episode. Go to prospectboomerang.com and check out all the cool things that Matt and I have to help you grow your brokerage. It doesn't matter where you are in the growth and where you want to be. We have something for you in different price points to make sure that it fits your brokerage. Matt.
Yeah, Ben.
Hit us with an action item.
So I want you guys to reach out to 3 brokers. Okay, this outside your market. Okay, don't
Larry Moe,
and Curly, or Shimp.
Don't reach out to Shimp.
Shimp was a solid guy, man. Don't be busting on Shimp.
You know he wasn't curly.
He wasn't curly.
He was like a bigger Moe.
Come on now. Mo was clearly in charge.
I mean, they had the same haircuts. All I'm saying.
They did, yeah. But Mo was clearly in charge.
Yes,
Shimp was never in charge.
No, he was never in charge.
No, he's never in charge. Yeah. All right. So I want you to reach out to 3 brokers, not in your market. Okay, so these should be broker friends of yours, something like that, people that you're connected with, other people you know from your franchise, whatever, right? If you're a CRB or whatever, reach out to some of those people. If you don't have 3 relationships with brokers outside of your market, this is your chance to do it. Go ahead and get it done, right?
Yep.
And create a real relationship with them. There's going to be days that you just want to reach out and connect, and this is your chance to do it, right? So ask those 3 brokers. Say, hey, tell me about agents in your market, 3 agents in your market that are not with your brokerage that you really like, and why do you like them?
Yeah.
What is it about them that you're just that you think is really cool, or that you think is makes them an awesome agent, or whatever, right? And then just take from those 3 brokers, take you're gonna have 9 different reasons and a pile of reasons and all that kind of stuff and everything, and start cross referencing all of that and see if there's anything that exists in your broker or any brokerage or anything that you could get better at.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're doing is you're going outside your market and you're taking a look at what peers of yours believe are good traits in an agent, and you're looking to make sure that those exist in your brokerage. If they do, awesome job. If they don't, that's where you start with number 1. What do you work on? Recruiting and those things.
Yep. I like it. I can't get over that you're a Shimp fan. So, guys, this may be the last podcast. It's not going to be the last podcast. I'll find a different co-host.
Named what? You're going to replace Curly with what?
Matt Phi. With the PH.
With the PH.
Awesome. Guys, you know I couldn't replace Matt. Like, what would I do? It'd be like, there'd be no talking.
You're going to replace me with somebody named Shimp.
Yeah, there'd be an intro and an outro.
Right.
The shortest podcast ever. Guys, we absolutely love doing this podcast. We love driving that value straight into whatever device you're listening to us from. And we do that for one reason and one reason alone. And tell them why that is, man.
Because we want to be part of their win.
Why I oughta.